You cannot face Sauron alone. It is said once the deceiver obtains a mind, he has the ability to sculpt their very thoughts, to deceive not only their mind, but their eyes and ears, to alter their very reality. You have already been affected once.
Still affected though, right? Am I right?
Affected, am I right, guys? Hey. Celebrimbor is over there getting affected right now.
Oh my. he's so turned on that it's palpable. They don't need the fire for the forge because it's so
in
hot.
His pants.
I really think they're playing Celebrimbor just spot on. They're really enriching the character in such an amazing way.
They're not making him... I love the way they're playing Celebrimbor because they're not making him dumb. They're making him proud. And
he's in Feanor's shadow and he doesn't want to be.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Here's what I realized. So I finally watched the third episode. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jessica. This is Ben. We're Podcast of the Rings. We are talking about Rings of Power episode by episode, and today we're on episode 2. And I finished episode 3 yesterday, and it's not a spoiler for episode 3 because we're trying to stay in the pocket of each episode. That quote is perfect, because what better character is there to have shape a whole series around than the character who knows the inner desires of everyone?
Yes.
Because nothing's more interesting than what is driving a character. Sure, battles are awesome. Sure, the storyline and all that. But knowing what Galadriel wants, knowing what Elrond, knowing what the dwarves want when we get to that, that's the num stuff that you love.
You got to work on your nums.
I did it because it's yours. I just was paying homage to it.
I want you to join me.
Okay. No, that's not
that was good. That was sneaky.
It reminds me of my aunt years ago when I was a kid. She goes, "If I could get you anything in the world, what would you want?" I was like, a bag of Tootsie Rolls. I wanted a bag of Tootsie Rolls.
Tootsie Rolls. Okay.
I was a thin kid. I didn't have to hide food. I say that because my sister did, and it was really sad because she was shamed about her weight and all those things. So I was allowed to have a hidden bag of Tootsie Rolls, and my aunt killed it. It might as well have been a drug bag full of the long Tootsie Rolls,
ones.
The short ones, the fat ones, it was all of them. I don't know what's
your favorite one? Is it the long ones, the short one, or is it the rectangle ones?
I mean, the rectangles just hit different.
They hit so different, dude.
I'm so glad you liked it.
I was waiting. I was hoping we were on the same page because it's not close.
But a lot of people don't like Tootsie Rolls at all. It actually reminds you know how Yoo-hoo. Have you heard of Yoo-hoo in your life?
Not a long time, but yeah.
It's chocolate milk water. It's not chocolate milk. It's chocolate water. And Tootsie Rolls are like the hardened condensed version of that. And they're both great. They're so weird.
Did you ever eat? Are they called Reese's? Not the peanut butter cups. What were they called?
Not the Reese's Pieces.
Not the Reese's Pieces.
Can't get on those. That's not me. I can't do those. Alex is a Reese's Pieces dude, and I can't.
Maybe I'm thinking of something different.
I don't know. I actually have no even context for what you're thinking about.
Reason. Riesen.
Are you my father?
No, and that's the thing is that I ate so many of those as a kid, and then later in life I was like, oh, this is an old person candy.
You didn't know.
I didn't know. We had bags of them.
They're so old, dude.
They're so old, but they were so good. Like the soft outer shell and like the hard, like I understand why they're old person candy now. But like there weren't like
chocolate.
They were like Werther's Original or some shit like that. Like that's straight up old person candy.
Like you can't tell me there's a better thing than Werther's butterscotch. It is
terrible.
Just so good. Well, we can't align on everything.
On everything. The road ends
Werther's
somewhere.
butterscotch are great. I love them.
Saltwater taffy. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm okay on it. My mom, I think people other than us, like because I'm West Coast, associate going to Maine, going to a small town, getting saltwater taffy, looking at the ocean. I don't. That's not where I'm at.
There's like the Central Coast, like Pismo, San Luis Obispo. That's where we'd always go to the beach growing up, and they had like a big like candy store, and saltwater taffy was just the rage. I think I had it was one of those things where like you're like, I need to try this. Everybody's liking this. Something's wrong with me.
Yes.
And so you try it like a handful of times, and it just never. Here's
the thing.
Never.
If it's a bag and it's the only thing there, and the banana flavor still exists, and like whatever, I'll nosh on it. But like, I always regret the flavor I have. I don't want the I get it if you like it. Good for you. It's a wild candy. It's no Tootsie Roll. No, so my long-winded point is what they're really trying to like drive into us here is Sauron knows what to do in every situation. Halbrand, Anatar, all those things. And it's great. And that really does change my perspective on season 1. It really
even
does.
The little elf guard, the little cutie pie elf guard that's just like, oh no, you've got to go, dude. And then all he has to do is turn his back and my back with the whip marks. Oh, do you think I could just rest here for a little bit? Oh, I'm so sorry. And
the fact that these people are so unperceptive to know that they're being played like a fiddle is wild.
And that, like goes into like my original point of like, it's easy. And I'm not saying like the Lord of the Rings movies were easy to make or anything like that. Not at all. We saw the craft that it took to make those brilliant pictures. Sure, but it's easier to make these angelic beings angelic and wise and immortal when you don't spend any time with them.
I just saw a article about Hugo Weaving, and I'm not surprised because even Kit Harington said this. Like, I'm not going to watch House of Dragons. Good for them. And I'm not going to watch. And Hugo Weaving's like, I'm sure Robert's great. I'm not going to watch it. I spent too much time there.
Yeah.
Hugo Weaving was only on screen for a combined, all 6 movies, 20 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
so you can paint a picture of these perfect, infallible beings, Yeah. And they're not, I don't think.
Like, I'd love to see, like, I could probably Google Cate Blanchett.
Is probably on screen for 5 minutes.
Screen time, Lord of the Rings. It doesn't have it. Why?
I'd venture to say less than 7 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
It's probably close to 20 with the Hobbit movies. But again, it's like Elrond and Galadriel are 2 of the only characters that are in all 6 like Peter Jackson movies, and 20 minutes. And so that's the thing is that I remember saying this like even especially about Morfydd Clark, where the Galadriel we know of Cate Blanchett is barely on screen. She's always bathed in white light and doing nothing but perfection. So when you have a character that's going through changes, learning and growing, trials and tribulations, it's going to be different. And it might not rub you the right way off the first run through.
And let's not forget, like, the Elrond we know, also the movie Elrond, doesn't want Arwen to marry.
I know him. We're boys. Going on the Grey Havens later.
I did see that was something that I think Brad Gren said also, that like, why does Grey Havens look like there's like a little shack when it's like the oldest settlement in Middle Earth, and it's just like, look at this little hole in the wall.
It's incognito, dog. They're just like they're just chilling.
I think Círdan is a simple man who doesn't need much. A simple elf, I should say.
When he goes out on the boat to destroy the rings, he's in like one of those like Miami speedboats.
He's in the equivalent of that.
The Jeff
probably.
Bezos super yacht or something like that.
Oh my god! Yeah, maybe that's it. That was one of those moments, and I know this goes back to the last episode where he's at the crag. That's this opening where like reaches to the core of the earth is what we're supposed to understand, and his intention is to destroy the rings. The way that the lava bubble, I guess, or the air pocket like rocks his boat, that was the one gimme that they get. Like, all right, he's about to throw it in the ocean, and he gets knocked, and it throws it back into the boat.
I think that was kind of what rubbed me the wrong way, too. Is it's kind of like a repeated beat. Like, he drops the rings, and then he's like, oh, look at these. And then when he goes back to Linden, they drop the rings again, and Galadriel's like, oh, look at this. It's like, can anyone just be handed something and just, like, look at them?
Now that I'm saying it out loud, it's the rings pulling themselves back.
If we're gonna do this, that makes sense.
I think that's really what it is. I think if they're really making us think that Sauron this is part of his larger plan. Sauron has influence over these. He did touch the mithril. He makes a point of it in episode 3, which we'll get to. I think the rings are choosing to come back. They're not ready to be destroyed.
Does he ever touch the mithril for these 3 rings? I don't think
the first thing he did
for these.
Yeah, when he's working with the metal. By the way, and doesn't he pick it up on the anvil when he first meets Celebrimbor? Where Celebrimbor is like, "My, you've healed quickly," and he's like, well, what is that? And like he's learning about mithril for the first time. I may be misremembering this, but I believe if he touched it for sure.
Got.
But if you guys have a screenshot, let me know.
Yes.
He wasn't part of the final forging process when she took, and it very well may be that the Valar metals are what saves them at the end because she uses the dagger from her brothers. The metal from her daggers.
That might be it, yeah.
So it could be, that might be the conceit. We see, it was in this episode that Círdan is shaving himself with
a seashell?
Shell. Yeah.
What a badass, dude. Like, that's not even supposed to be a badass thing, but Ben Daniels' face is just like that. He's just...
Well, it is supposed to be a badass thing because canonically, Círdan is the only elf with a beard. And so people who are watching this and know too much may be screaming at the table at the TV and going, he's supposed to have a beard, not shave it. But I think what they're doing is showing us he's capable of growing one so that later if he starts becoming 5 o'clock Shadow Boy, we know why.
We couldn't handle 5 o'clock Shadow Círdan right now. I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, the world is not ready.
For as reliably straight as you are, Ben, you are the perfect amount of
I just know a handsome man when I see it. And
that's the kind of guy I want to hang out with. This is someone who can go, that's
and
rock
also,
hard.
like, we spent all of, like, our review of season 1 being like, oh, he's not Peter Jackson hot. Ben Daniels is Peter Jackson hot. Like,
would you have recast Ben Daniels as Gil-galad if given the chance?
It's so tough because he comes in like such a bolt of lightning this season. And I feel like the actor for Gil-galad, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, he's got like that pompousness to him. And I'm sure Ben Daniels...
Ben Walker, right, is his name?
Yeah, I think, like, I'm sure that actor, he's an actor, he can get that in him. But I just like his gentleness. Like, even in this episode particularly, where we know, because we have the gift of foresight, that Elrond is in the right here. But we understand they do a great job. And even, the conversation that I pulled the quote from with Galadriel and Gil-galad, like, they know something's wrong, like, with the rings. Like, they know something is up. Yes, it saved the tree. Yes, the elves are still in Middle-earth because... they need to be. And that's another good reason where Gil-galad's like, okay, yeah, the tree's cool too, but if we leave, Middle-earth is boned. Like, we need these rings, even if just temporarily, just to fight Sauron, even though these rings might be helping Sauron. Like, it's like this, it's a circle. It's like a ring. Oh my god! Ah!
Someone give him a raise.
This is why we do the show, people.
Jesus Christ.
But I love how Gil-galad with his stern, like, give me the rings, Elrond, like, kind of ordering him to. I love that, it's like almost like a good cop, bad cop kind of thing, where it's like, oh, like, would you throw away the poets of this elven poet because they were a drunkard? Like, just because someone has lost his way doesn't mean you need to throw them away. Like,
it's beautiful. You really do get the sense that this guy this elf has been around and has just full circle gotten to peace. Right?
Yes.
Like, again, if you're just joining us, Ben and I know very little about like pre Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth, just because we just can't keep it all in our brains. That's not how our brains work. Which is why we are TV content producers. Like,
that's right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's really why. But it kind of reminds me, now that we're talking about him this way, of like Captain Picard from Star Trek. Like, you can tell that Patrick Stewart's Picard had a rough go of it, and it was an angry man up to this point. And we're seeing not the remnants of that, the culture of him now. We're seeing the improvement of that man, the man who's been through it all and knows that hot-headedness is not it might have gotten him here today, but it's not going to solve the problem tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Kieran is like, and you know what? It's all good.
And it's refreshing because, we talked about it last episode we just talked about it now with Hugo Weaving and Cate Blanchett compared to Morfydd Clark and Richard Aramayo. It's like, yeah, these are little baby elves growing and stuff like that. And then our other elf of like Gil-galad, who's like this stern kind of a-hole in the first season, where you're just like, no, why are you talking like this? Like, Sauron is coming back, you gotta listen. It's nice to have a wise old elf.
Totally.
It's nice to have a Lord of the Rings elf with us here, where it's just like, yeah, this guy is just kind of chilling. Maybe he'll make some mistakes down the road, but like, he's got a different perspective. He's not being rash or emotional or, anything like that. He's just kind of like, yeah, dude.
He knows Elrond's hiding there. Like, that's just such a lovely moment. He's like, you can stop hiding. You've been in my, like, it's so charming. That's elf. And listen, I'm not upset that we're getting to experience a bunch of different types of living experience. I will say, I didn't know this because I just don't read the trades like all the people. I didn't know that there's going to be like a Gandalf biopic. There's going to be an Aragorn biopic, apparently. Alex was telling me about this. I don't want that.
No one wants. Look, you just watch Wolverine's origin. That's how I feel about this. Like, but even like in Wolverine's origin, at least you got Hugh Jackman in there for the whole thing. We're not going to get Viggo Mortensen.
Redeeming. It's the only the entire time while I was watching Wolverine. When he's in Japan, I'm like, leave, bro. Not your circus, not your monkeys. What the fuck are you doing here? It made me so angry. And the thing is like, we're seeing this play out on bigger stages with Marvel and Star Wars. Granted, this is not a Disney, Disney hasn't tainted this yet.
Right.
It's failing when you start trying to tell too many stories at once. Right. And
it's, I don't know, because it is, here I am talking about like, oh, this is my Lord of the Rings elf. Like, I love the touch of the familiar, of like things that I know, things that I can relate to, things that I fell in love with. But I'm also enjoying Rings of Power and the new angles they're telling. Like, even if I was like a diehard reader of the Silmarillion, like I would have the presence of mind to be like, oh, well, this is a different story. They legally could not get the rights to tell that story. So they've got to do some workarounds. They got to do some revisionist history. And here we are.
And I can understand someone going, well, then why are you making it? Right.
No,
I can understand that.
I understand that too. But when it comes to like Star Wars, it feels like that fandom, it feels like they don't know what they want to begin with, because everyone grew up with obviously the original trilogy.
Right.
And then the prequels came out. And I'm sorry, everybody hated the fucking prequels. Even as a kid, like I
don't remember that. I remember just like everyone being into it.
People wanted to like it, but they were not well-made movies. And we didn't expect trade talks and Federation blockades and 900 Senate meetings and all these things. And it was like, like I said about Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie ends with Duel of the Fates, and you're like, whoa. Okay,
right.
There we go. Totally, and you walk out of the theater feeling good. But
totally.
But now, if it doesn't involve the Skywalkers, if it doesn't have X-wings, Death Star, lightsabers, everything we know, we just saw with the Acolyte. If they try and do anything different, immediately rejected, immediately called woke, DEI, whatever trigger word, like buzzword you want to use now that gets you clicks. And I feel like that's where this show is, where it's trying to do something different or just trying to tell a story, but they can't help themselves of like, yeah, but they want to see Aragorn. They want to see Gandalf. We got to do that. And it's like, you don't, because you're just, fans are just like, they're not ever going to be happy no matter what you do. Trying to appease like the right-wing grifters is never going to go your way. We've seen it. We saw them try it with Rise of Skywalker, and they hated that too. Like the proof is in the pudding.
I mean, and I will say this just for like equilibrium, trying to also what's the word you use? I can't say appease. Jesus, appease. The ultra liberals also is like a failing battle. I think you just have to try to tell a good story with the best actors available, and then you take a look at your biases and say, am I the right person to tell this story? You know what I mean? Like, that's all I think everyone's just trying to get to, is this healthy middle ground of like, let's just tell good stories and be fucking kind people. What do you think why is this working for us right now? When we had like easy criticisms about season 1, why is like episode 2 and all these things so good? And I know we're kind of like supposed to go episode like beat by beat here on this episode.
And we will. I've got the recap right here, because there are like definitely this is the moment that I talked about last season where I'm like, you could have had something right there and you skipped it for some reason. It was very weird. But it's the dialogue for me. I think the dialogue is much more driving. It's not like meandering. We're not just talking in Middle Earth speech to talk about, like, it sounds like actual people talking, not like, everyone makes fun of M. Night. I just watched Trap. Everyone makes fun of M. Night Shyamalan. Hey, did you know this whole concert's a trap and we're here for a serial killer? Don't tell anybody. It's like, I understand it sounds bad. I love Trap. I thought it was really fun.
Is that what the concept is? I've been dying to know what the concept was. No, you have to watch it. It actually interested me.
We should do a Patreon episode about Trap once you watch it, because I want to talk about it so bad. But you just have to accept, like, this is how people talk. And that's okay. But there's nothing sounded unnatural in Lord of the Rings. It doesn't. And this sounds more natural. Like this whole Gil-galad, like I watched the scene to get the quote again. I'm like, oh my god, they're cooking right now, here. Just like Gil-galad's just in the pot, just just like, there's that gif of that guy making the ramen, just whipping that shit, man. And he was, and I love it where, like, you want Galadriel to go face Sauron, and then Gil-galad's like, you don't understand Sauron. You were I know that's not Galadriel history, but like, you were a soldier. I was seeing the big picture. I know who this motherfucker is. If you're saying he's back, I am believing you. But now you have to realize you are compromised. You are in too deep. Your emotions are clouded. Your judgment is clouded. You think you'll know when you're, 2-3 cities away. When you meet this guy face to face and you just called him Halbrand again, you're fucking up. You gotta do this.
Wow. That's a really good point, that like, maybe Gil-galad did have like good cause to think that Sauron was, I mean, I still think it was a mistake to think that Galadriel was causing the blight on the fucking tree. Like, that was just real silly. But like, Gil-galad is it's also really jarring when they call her commander, because I forget that she was the commander of the Norman, it's just jarring. Yeah. But he is supposed to have the bird eyes perspective. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's why it actually is dumb. And I'm going back and further solidifying my opinion. It's really dumb when he says, Celebrimbor will be fine. Like,
to be fair, he does send emissaries there.
That's fair.
Like, should he have let Galad? But like, at the end of episode 3, they're going to.
But because, and this is what I love too, it's awakening these magic powers of them being able to see the future.
Yes.
And so Gil-galad knows that whether or not she's compromised, she's seeing things. Yeah. And so if she's seeing and and the good thing about Galadriel now is that she's like being forthright with Gil-galad in this sequence, right? Like, I see him at Eregion. He goes, you know what? Then he probably is there because I'm seeing mountains crumble, and we get to that in episode 3. So, or do we get that?
No, this is the beginning of episode 2, and we can start going.
That's right. Let's do it. Okay.
So we didn't get any dwarves. That's like 2 episodes in a row going back to the finale of season 1 and beginning of season 2 that we are dwarveless. And that's where this starts, where the show starts with seeing Mount Doom, and then a great use of the map of like showing like these veins, like the San Andreas Fault with like the darkness veins creeping all the way to Khazad-dûm. We see this beautiful sculpture of 2 gigantic dwarves and their sun windows, and then Disa and Durin, the younger, are discount shopping at the Dollar Mart in Moria right now, complaining about finances, because you know what, man? Welcome to real life, baby. Fucking kicked off your pedestal, huh? Huh? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Eat the rich!
I will say you're totally right that the conceit of the map, this leather-bound map and all that stuff is really cool, but they still gave us a typeface lower third for Mordor.
I think you need to, man.
But dude, on the map, I don't want to, or is it just because it's such a new land that it doesn't exist on the map yet?
I don't know,
or did they double down and going, yeah, fuckers, we did this weird thing last season, we're doing it again?
Well, they're doing it with Khazad-dûm and Eregion and stuff like that. They're giving us locations everywhere.
Yes, but they actually did a lower third for Mordor, not on the map.
I know they're doing that with other locations too.
I didn't see that. Maybe I didn't notice that. Okay, maybe I'm just so traumatized from season 1.
I don't blame you. That's still possibly the worst decision artistically they made
anyone's ever made. What really bothers me about this scene, I love it, and again, I'm like, ooh, this is num 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 for me because I love Disa and Durin together, and they're just so wonderful. But why are they having this conversation out in the middle of the public? And everyone's like, that's the prince. What's happening here?
Yeah, there's a lot of public conversations that shouldn't happen. We don't get it till next episode, but the Pharazôn dinner conversation. I'm just like, y'all are out at a bar conspiring against the crown right now, and even someone does overhear them and confronts them.
And Belandil's awesome in that moment, but it's give us them trying to not here or whatever, and then blow out, right? And then it could be cool that maybe Durin getting upset is what crashed the boulder or something like that. It's just a little, so you're asking me to suspend my disbelief just a little too much with these no social awareness situations.
Yeah. Okay. And all the sun goes out during this earthquake, and I guess that Disa and 2 other dwarves have this power to sing to the mountain, and I thought it was a ceremonial thing in season 2 or season 1, where the mithril mine collapses and Elrond hears them singing, and she says oh, it's a chant song to bring them back, and they do. And I was like, oh, okay, it's a ceremonial thing, plenty of cultures have. Basically them praying to the mountain. No, they have, actual magical powers that can lift stone. How do you feel about that?
Is that what you think, they can lift stone? I didn't think that they could lift stone. I thought it was speaking to the stone to reveal paths.
The stone literally moves when they sing.
No, I thought the stone fell.
I thought the windows reopen while they're singing, and then
no, because they failed at what they were doing.
I know. I'm saying the stone moved while they sang, and then they couldn't do it, and so they say they've lost connection to the mountain.
You know what? Maybe I just didn't have good resolution on my television. I thought what happened is they were trying to sing and communicate with the stone, and what they said was that it will reveal the path that we should dig, because they couldn't find one. And the connection was broken because whatever they did caused the rock to fall again, or it broke that connection. I may be misremembering how that went down.
I don't know. It seemed like their singing literally tried to move the mountain, and they I guess had succeeded beforehand, but hadn't now, because that's like a full thing of like them losing connection to the mountain, and
it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying it definitely is something. They're definitely able to communicate. And I kind of got that in season 1, was that like they're to me it feels like a bat with echolocation. They're able to sing and resonate and understand the soft and the hard and the difficult parts of the mountain. That's what I got. I'm going to go scrub through while we get to the next part, though, because now I'm really confused.
So, I mean, I think we jumped the gun a little bit last episode where we talked about the witches reforming. That happens this episode, not episode 1.
No.
But we can talk about a little bit again, where the gold mask guy comes and says that he's going to kidnap the stranger. And we talked about all that. We talked about Kieran Hines. I've heard rumors. I'm sticking with my blue wizard theory. I'm not saying it's my theory. I'm just I jumped on the bandwagon in our review last season. I think that the stranger is a blue wizard.
I think that's right. It's because we don't know anything about them.
The only thing that's kind of keeping me from that, and I've seen this, is like the whole naming thing. And I watched Nerd of the Rings review of this, that one of the names that Nori tries to give the stranger, I can't think, it starts with an F, but it's Fatty Bulger's name. It's like his actual name, not, his name is not Fatty. But like I was like, oh, that's a nice little Easter egg.
Sure.
Because Fatty...
Who is that? Fatty Bulger? I don't remember. Is he the other friend?
He's he's the fifth Hobbit who stays and pretends to be Frodo in the Shire.
That's right. Yeah.
Like the MVP, while the Nazgul are like around the Shire hunting down Frodo. He's like, yeah, I'll pretend to be you while you guys sneak off to,
Yes.
Hey.
The real hero of the story. Okay, so I just re-scrubbed that scene. The water kind of moves. I think they're like shifting the rock for sure.
Yeah.
Or like they're definitely affecting like the airwaves in the world, but the where the one remaining sun shaft was, the rock just falls onto it.
Yeah, so they're moving the rock, but there wasn't any sun shafts, right?
There was one left.
And
they destroyed the last one. This might just be a classic Ben Jess bungle.
No.
Okay. So, we did get the wizard in this one, which is fine.
It's like, it is tough to, like, when you watch these episodes, I should have just watched them just for each one of these, but I was like, I don't want to get spoiled. But,
sure.
Like, once we get into the week by week, it's going to be impossible to do this again.
Yeah. But I will say, I just want to talk about, like we said, the horror element. When she sees Celebrimbor in the forest with the gravestones,
yes.
It is horrific.
Yeah, they are not holding back with, like, the violent imagery in this show. Like,
I mean, with the reindeer and, like, the knife against the eye with the big orc.
I was gonna say, besides that Southland attack, with like the knife in the eye, and then when they're
the cow ichor though with the udder, that was
just
pretty
you.
bad.
That's just you.
That was fucking foul.
That was just you, Jessica.
No, that was absolutely upsetting.
That was 5 seconds of the first episode of the show
that they showed over and over again in the recaps. It was
episode 9 recap. Me.
I'm trying to drink the rest of my disgusting coffee right now.
I would laugh so hard if, like, before the season finale of or series finale, like the last alliance battle is happening, and then suddenly just like, man, cow udder. Do you remember this, guys?
It's too much.
Go all the way back to the beginning. Like, they're literally gonna pay Bronwyn's actor residuals just to show her doing the meh.
No, it was Arondir. I think Arondir's like, oh god, oh no, it's too much. I hate that we're talking about it right now. But yes, the Celebrimbor forest scene where he's like just spiked off by a tree. It's kind of wild.
Good dream sequence. I hate that it's happening like in the middle of like a battle plan. Like, I wish I'm okay with the waking up screaming cliche. Just do that instead of like she's standing,
she's completely gone.
like she's just completely zoned out. Especially because like we're rooting for Galadriel, so we want her to be like capable and competent. And it's like, dude, you're daydreaming in the middle of the battle report where they're like, oh, we sent scouts and we found, Sauron going into Mordor with Adar, but then we lost him somehow. I love a good cutaway of like, oh yeah, don't worry, the messenger should be getting to Eregion now.
Oh, we were waiting
Cut to
for
corpses, like flies buzzing. Now, do you think those are the barrel whites that we're gonna see the Avengers circle knife twirl fight later on? Like when Elrond's party gets there, do you think they were killed by the barrel whites? I
don't think so. I did not get that vibe.
I did.
That's okay. Well, then we'll put money on it. I actually think
couple of doubloons there, eh? Doubloons.
It's one of my nicknames for him. I actually think she can't control when she's getting these visions, so it happens to her in the middle of this.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think she's just waking up to these latent abilities. While I was like, girl, get your shit together. You're in the middle of a fucking battle plan. She may not be able to control it.
That's a really good point, and you're probably right. Where she's like wearing this ring, and like Gil-galad says, like, yeah, I've got the gift of foresight, but now it's like enhanced. She didn't have that before this ring, so she's like just getting these visions left and right and can't control them. So yeah, no, you're probably right. I stand corrected.
No, I mean, we're also like. My difficulty with this stuff is like, what's going to be true? What do the showrunners want us to believe is true? Like there was a suspension of disbelief that Mithril actually healed the elves. There's always the question mark of like, is this just a red herring or not a red herring? I always say that wrong. What's the thing where it's like, hey, look over here. This is the thing you care about, but
I think red herring's right.
Yeah. I always wonder if something's going to be a red herring, but I do think that that's what this is at this point.
I think so too. I'm just wondering, and it's like, it seems like this season's going to be about the dwarves. So let's say next season's going to be about the 9 rings of men. Then what? Like, I don't know. I don't want to say then what like that, but like, we definitely don't even have like 9 human characters we can give rings to right now. Granted, we don't have 7 dwarf characters we can give rings to right now.
We really don't. Although it just may not, like they may be getting spread around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that could be, I think what we're going to see are the couple of people that are going to be tempted the most by having these things. Because we've already seen this, like a cut from the trailer where Durin the Younger tells Dad, take off the ring, so I think we're just going to see how that impacts Durin the Second.
For sure.
So we're just probably we probably have already met the human that's going to get the ring that we're supposed to follow, and how that, I know that maybe not, I don't know, but the human rings get made this year.
They do?
This season. I believe that's right.
Oh, yeah, there is that gif of like him dropping all the rings in the fire when he's all bloodied and everything.
Yeah. I don't want baby Celebrimbor. I'm not looking
They're doing a good job of like, last season we kept asking like, who am I rooting for? And they're doing a good job of rectifying that. They're really attaching us to these characters.
Right.
And
you're so right.
Like the writing is so, I can't understate how much better the writing is this season. I know, like I've seen reviews from friends, from other creators that like, it's still real slow. And you know what? Not much has happened. And even in this, is this scene or is it the next episode where he's mining? I think it's this episode.
No, it's this episode, because he's like, we still see him in duress, like, living the real life, and they make fun of him not having calluses.
And this is the thing where, he's like, touch me again, and I'll show you like the meaning of calluses or something like that. And the guy pushes him over, and then we just cut to him like eating alone, and he's got like some bruises. I'm like, give us a bar fight. Just give us a bar fight. Show us that like this man is a badass. You know, like there's like 4 other dwarves there. So you know what? He knocks out 3 of them, and then just like every other fight, like, oh, they all gang up on him and he loses the fight or something. But like this, it was like such a main complaint of like, you know what? People want a little bit of action. Give us a little dwarf bar fight. That's like, I'm not asking for Battle of the Bastards or them fighting the Balrog right now, but a little scuffle, a little Donnybrook.
I mean, and you know what? This is even a missed moment now that you're saying this, where Valandil could have like pushed Farazan's son a little bit in episode 3. Like, give us a little bit of tension, because you're to your 100% credit, that cut when he's just at the table is jarring. Especially like we needed something in between.
There's got to be, but even in this thing is that I'll defend the Farazan Valandil thing because it's such a good threat, and
it is.
The little
little
bitch ass son is just like, oh, I apologize with my fucking little turkey neck ass motherfucker. Like, oh my god, granted.
That's a face you want to punch.
He is the most punchable face. Like he is like the Joffrey of this show for sure, with less power but just as annoying. But if it would have been the same if like he had pushed Valandil and then we just cut away. And it's like, no, you can't have someone drop a dime like that of like, if you touch me again, something bad's gonna happen to you. He does, and then you cut away. No, like, these are our main characters. Let me see Durin kick some ass. You can have him.
I don't think the guy touched him again. That's what was confusing. He says, touch me again, and then the guy backs off, right? And then they cut. I don't think he pushes him again. No, the push is first.
He pushes him, and he's like, touch me again, and then Durin turns around, and he gets pushed to the ground. Okay,
then I'm really seeing a different TV show than you are.
I mean, do your scrubbing it. I know it's right there.
I'm scrubbing. We're doing the scrub. It's happening.
And so it's such a jarring thing where it's like, dude, give us a little fight. I'm not looking for, the lobby scene from The Matrix or something like that. I'm not looking for the Raid 2 kitchen fight. Just a couple of dwarves just throw, like, because this happens. These are dwarves. They're gonna scuffle all the time.
That's what I really liked about that scene. I was like, oh, this 100% happens in the mines. These guys fucking fight each other for fun.
Right?
They're just pushing him around to see what he's going to do. We also may be wrong. This might not be in this episode.
God dang it. I knew it wasn't.
I know. We really sucked.
The blurring of these 3 episodes is so tough, man.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, everybody. But let's jump our asses over to, Disa fails. Hold on.
Yeah, just the stones.
No, it's this. It is a scene.
Okay.
Playhand's been polishing jewels all his life. Very funny, making fun of him.
Yeah, good ribbing. Love it.
Only 13 hours to go. So, it's been a long time. 10 seconds. He smacks him in the face, and then Durin hits his hand away. Lay a finger on me again. I'll bite it off at the knuckle, which I loved that. And I thought I had the joke that they had knuckle soup because the cut happens right. Oh yeah, he does push him.
I told you.
What the hell? It's a weird cut.
It's weird. It's so weird.
Let us watch him sit down and take it.
Yeah, like he gets pushed and then you see him pick up his axe again, or his pickaxe, and just get back to work or something. Or you have him fight.
Yeah, there was it's a missing moment for sure. But now let's go back to Run. And we already know that Gandhi is scared to use his powers because he can't concentrate it on a stick. They realize that they're being followed by the Jawas, and they decide to take the desert path. And this is when go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish it.
Arsenal Roy 2K gave us his quick thoughts about these and said, why the fuck are these bug biters being dragged by the stranger in the desert. Why does when he passes out? Why is he dragging them? Why aren't they walking?
I don't know. I mean,
It's
they
really
are kids.
weird.
You forget, they're children.
They could, which means that they should have more stamina, bro. They should be fucking.
Have you ever been to Disneyland? By 11 o'clock, the kids are knocked out in the stroller.
Those are young adults enough to feel really guilty about making this guy carry their asses.
No,
in the
you told me how immature Frodo was in Hobbit years. They are much younger than Frodo.
Then they shouldn't be traveling together.
I'm not. That's totally fair.
Danger.
That's totally fair. Absolutely.
They almost killed that man. They almost killed him. He almost became Gandalf the Brown. So this is how Gandalf the Grey happens, because they almost killed him.
Yeah, they stress him out so bad all his hair turns gray.
So they get to a well, because Poppy fucking sees a well. There's a staff there, which is great. And the Jawas catch up with them.
I do think this is really good writing, though. It's this is where the whole name thing comes in, where they're trying to name him. And I think this is I don't want to say they're playing up too much. I'm okay with this because we don't have the who is Sauron anymore. It could be any of the 4 storylines going on. We're just oh, is this guy Gandalf now? Is it Gandalf? Is it Saruman? Is it a blue wizard? We don't know. But I think this is the only thing kind of holding up the Gandalf theory is the name thing. Where it's just
I see, sure.
Where it's oh, a name, you don't choose a name, you just know when you hear it or something like that. God, I love that this man can talk. He's such a good actor, and he's got such a great voice. I'm just I understand it's a story, but having you on fucking mute all last season sucked. But he's such a good actor. I love everything he's got to say, but they do almost murder.
Why couldn't he even spoken in riddles, right? Just been ba 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 ba, and everyone's what the fuck are you talking about, bro?
But I love it's just let's not take, by day 1 we'll be out of water, by day 2 we'll be dead. Let's not take that route. I love how he says that. It's so great. And
it's so Gandalf, man. I can't imagine. It really is.
And then I love how it's a great foreshadowing of not even a Chekhov's gun or anything like that, but it's just let's really not take this route. And then they realize they're being followed. It's oh, well, we have to. It shows you in one line of dialogue how terrible this route is going to be and how hard it is going to be for them. And that's why they have to take it. And really great stuff of just the well. And good tension building with why is there a bell on a well?
It's an alarm.
Yeah. It's basically
so good.
It's basically a trap built by the Jawas to be if anyone gets water from this place, we're gonna fucking know.
It was such good tension building, because then as the rope comes even higher,
faster and faster and faster.
Fuck.
And then the stranger picks up the staff, slams it. They need to give him some bigger staffs. He's got little baby staffs both time he's used them, and they're really small in his hand.
Well, it's not a staff. That's just it.
I know, it's
just
ill-fitting.
Because it's not the right one. And that's what you kind of get in the dream sequence in episode 1, where it's you can't quite get the vision of it, but it does kind of look like what you think he saw.
Yeah.
And that's why, so he conjures this fucking badass tornado. Isn't that sequence? That was the first time I went,
where's Glenn Powell when you need him? Am I right?
What does that mean?
He's in Twisters.
Oh, I don't know this guy's name. Every time I hear Powell, I think of Colin Powell. I was do we need Homeland Security?
You've never dated yourself more than Colin Powell, Jessica? Is this 2002?
I'm just saying that was a big name in the news at that
20
time.
20 years ago, Jessica! We weren't even in high school yet.
I was.
You're only a year older than me, though, right?
I was a junior. Or was a sophomore in 2002.
Oh my gosh. Colin Powell is insane.
I don't know this guy's name is Glenn Powell. Does he have 2 N's in his name, too?
He does.
Yeah, fuck that guy. I don't care. He doesn't look as cool as everyone thinks
yes, he does. Shut the fuck up.
Dork.
You're
he looks
so
like
wrong.
He's playing AAA.
Oh, you're so wrong.
Corn baseball.
Yeah. Yes. I'm sorry. When you are on a big screen and people are clapping in a white t-shirt because it's raining, then we can fucking talk, Jessica. Again, I am a straight man, and I watch Twisters. I am not fucking shitting you. He walked into the rain in a white t-shirt, and my theater erupted in applause.
What?
Unironically.
What? Was like an Elvis
That is the
Presley
power
moment?
this man has
That
over the
is too
people right
much.
now.
It's so dumb. So dumb.
You're
Fucking get
wrong.
laid. I'm not wrong. People need to get laid. He's got a weird
And you know who wants?
torso.
And you know who wants to lay them? Glenn fucking Powell.
No. He's celibate, bro. Let's go. I don't
Glenn
know.
Powell as
I
like
know
Halbrand or Isildur would move
Mm.
mountains.
Uh-huh. You know, and we'll get to this next episode. Our Isildur is doing a little bit better than he did last
Everybody's
season.
doing better. It's so
yeah,
crazy.
everyone leveled up. Everyone leveled
They
up.
really did.
Nori's okay. She's doing some weird shit. Like
Someone talked about
I don't
her
know.
voice. I think it was Ulrich was like, "Why is her voice so?" I like her dubbing or her ADR does sound off.
I don't know what to say. I just think that she's giving a weird performance. She seems a little sleepy.
She does,
and I can't.
She seems
and,
off.
And something's off.
Because like we all hated the Harfoots in season 1, but like we were still rooting for Nori. Like like her big ol' eyes, her like amazing demeanor. Like she did give us like the Frodo I want to go on an adventure vibes.
Or she was like locked in.
She was locked in, and she's not. And that like it goes.
Like, maybe she's just a little jaded. Something's telling me like it feels like she's jaded.
Yeah.
Or something. It's hard to explain.
And you know what? It might be like, you know, Amanda Stenberg just made like a 10-minute video. The lead of The Acolyte.
Oh, okay.
And it's just like when you're the lead of the storyline, no one likes. You're gonna hear that feedback, and so I'm sure it was tough. And like we here at Podcast of the Rings don't like the storyline. We have no problem with the actor.
But we never blamed the actors.
Never blame the actor. We know it's like the writers and the showrunners and the directors, like everyone that like the actors read the script and they do what they're told, and that's what they're supposed to do.
Right. Totally.
Granted, there are things as bad performances, and that's okay. But I've brought up the prequels 1,000 times where there was a lot of Oscar winners in those movies, and they sound real fucking bad.
And editing has a lot to do with that too.
Very true.
You know,
but it can't be easy knowing that every article you read, even of like positive people like us on the show, are just like, oh, the Harfoots. Man, they didn't have the like. Oh, the trailer didn't have the Harfoots in it. Thank God we only saw Nori for half a second or something like that. Like, I'm sure it gets to you. I'm sure it's got to get to you because I realize actors can. It's so funny when actors like, oh, like there's that TikToker Caitlyn something where she's like, anytime you hand a celebrity a phone, it's like, oh my God, what's this a phone? Oh, what's a meme? What's a meme? I've never heard it. What? Oh my God, mother, you're calling me mother? That's so crazy. I don't know. It's like. I understand that they can bubble themselves, but somehow actors are living in the fucking 1940s still, where they're just like, oh, electronic mail? Wait, you're saying I can send those? There's not carrier pigeons everywhere? I'm not sending letters by Raven anymore? Like, what the fuck?
Jesus Christ.
I swear, like, any red carpet or, like, you know, press junket interview, they're like, what? GIF? What? Twitter?
God, they're just probably way too aware that they have to be on at every moment.
Oh yeah,
too.
Especially now where everyone's got a phone, everyone's got a microphone, like every single thing. Like I saw one where it was like Winona Ryder said, "Oh, I love seeing the boys grow up on Stranger Things," and Sadie Sink and I can't think of the other not Millie Bobby Brown. Basically mentioned everybody but Millie Bobby Brown, and everyone's like, "Oh, she hates her, huh? She hates her." It's like, oh my God, dude, y'all are fucking insane.
You can't live, you can't breathe.
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk, I was watching him, like, I came across my feed a interview with him and the cast of Resident Alien, and they literally have to like sidearm Alan, like, to, what do you think about that? Like the co-stars. Because he's literally out to lunch. He's like, I couldn't give a fuck about this. And I totally love that. They're like, well, yeah, what, you agree, right, Alan? And he's like, huh? Oh yeah. To every question.
There's a line,
though. I love that. No, but I love that.
I love that to a certain extent.
He's still going to work.
You still got to sell your shit, though.
No, but he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
I'm just saying he doesn't.
Oh, he does. Yeah, okay. Well, he should.
Okay.
I love Alan Tudyk to death, but
he doesn't though. Like he was going to work regardless.
Yeah, but I mean, it'd be nice for the other actors in the show for you to sell the work because he's not doing the show by himself.
In the moment when it's 6 of the actors and he's in the middle and he's checked out, that's odd. You're totally right. But I was just more saying like that's an example of someone who's not like playing the game 100% all the time, and I think that's kind of okay.
I think it's okay to a certain extent, but it's like I know they're a little insufferable at some points, but like if you have Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds playing the fucking game for like 6 months before a movie that you don't need to play the game for, you gotta take at least some example from that. I know that was everywhere, and the internet has borderline made me hate fucking Deadpool and Wolverine. I like the movie, but like the weighted antidepressant blanket that the internet has given me for this movie is just like, holy shit, I don't need to hear Like a Prayer every other fucking TikTok. I don't need to see Ryan Reynolds in every commercial. Like, I get it. But you know what? The movie made over $1 billion in like a weekend. So who the fuck am I to say?
Yeah, no, that's fair. Now, let's get to the meat of this whole episode, which is when Celebrimbor, like a basic bitch, goes down to Halbrand and says, "You gotta go.
You can't.
I'm not supposed to
stay away. Stay away, dude. He's
but
bad
I
for
can
you."
relate. I can relate to this so much.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna go tell him in person. We're definitely not gonna hook up. Like,
it's like when you go to get advice from your friend, like, listen, I just need to tell him I'm done, and like, what's this tweet say, and like, or like, what should I say? Like, you convinced your friend even that you're gonna tell them it's over. Like, no, but I need to have closure. I need to be the one. But then I'm looking at him.
Yeah,
he's covered in rain, and he's so pretty,
and he's hurt. He's injured.
And he's hurt. And he has information. Like, it's the biggest mistake he could have ever made, and I totally
plays him like a fucking fiddle. Like,
it's insane.
Charlie Daniels couldn't play a fiddle like this.
Insane.
Halbrand went down to Georgia, people.
This is what I love, is that we're getting Charlie Vickers actually getting to act.
Yes.
Too. We really get to see the full hilt of this, and that's what I said last episode. I'm in.
You know who's seen the full hilt as well? Celebrimbor.
Let's go!
That was too excited. That was too excited right there. You sound like a warg.
A chihuahua.
Yeah, a chihuahua warg.
So he finally lets him up. He feeds him, bathes him, gives him warm shelter by the fire, and he's just playing this note for note. And it's not like Celebrimbor is a dummy.
No, Sauron. That's the thing, is that Sauron's letting him lead the conversation. He's like, okay, what are you gonna say? How do I respond to it? He's not like trying to do anything that like. He's like letting Celebrimbor like walk right into it, and it's so well written. It's so good. Where was this last? Like, it almost makes me retroactively angry. Of like, where was this? Like,
I don't know.
Where was this like scintillating dialogue that I'm hanging on the edge because it's so good. It is just like that scene in the prequels where I'm like, oh no, Anakin's gonna be okay. Oh no, wait. I know this doesn't happen. So this is like, oh no, Celebrimbor knows he's bad. Oh wait, no, I know the fucking rings get made. What am I talking about? Like,
yeah, totally. And like, there's a couple moments where just in the dialogue, I'm afraid that like Sauron is overplaying his hand a little bit, but at the same time, he's just giving him enough, and it's so bad. And Halbrand / Sauron is not the good guy, guys. But it's just so good. And you can, I just want Celebrimbor to be proud of his work.
Yeah.
And he's not getting any news from Lyndon, and he saved them. Isn't that always the case, that they just cast us aside when it's so good.
Right. Homeboy like so just saved the realm.
Yeah.
Like the elves.
Middle Earth.
Middle Earth. The elves had their bags packed, and his invention kept them here. And he hasn't heard a single thank you. Not nothing. And you know what? That would get to a lot of us.
I think that's right. So it works. And then it's a little awkward when Halbrand's like, well, I'm not who you think I am. And, I actually
unabashedly love how they just dive right into every single Jesus allegory you could ever think of. The man comes in because that is who Celebrimbor is. He is this romantic drinking wine from the first age, full of art and everything. So you know how you're going to show it? You're going to show him rolling on a fucking sunset sea of clouds, coming in like, oh, I am from the Valar. Look at me.
No, that wasn't actually weird. It was the way he was talking to him was weird. But I also want to say when Celebrimbor goes to grab the wine, and I'm so happy for him because he's been saving it, and he's an old ass elf, and he turns around and knocks over the wine.
It hurt.
I gasped.
It hurt.
I gasped.
That is like $400 an ounce.
Here's the best part. If we're looking at Celebrimbor as our big gay uncle that we love, he is getting a fucking full-fledged musical played for him in front of him, because he's literally on a proscenium. He's coming down to the come on, he's getting a play. He's like, oh my god, he's like that gif from The Voice when the guy is like,
yes,
his whole jaw becomes unhinged. Celebrimbor is sucked in. And we are too. It's so good. Call me Anata.
It's great. It's played so perfectly, especially because like you have Charlie Vickers, like his most beat up, his most injured, black eye, bruised, scratched up, and then he comes out immaculate with the wig, rolling in on the clouds. Oh my gosh, it works so well.
Chills. I'm so in. It's so good. And Celebrimbor is gone. He's on a different plane of existence. Like, bye, Celebrimbor.
You respect him for being like, no, I can't treat with him. It was given to me by Gil-galad and all these things. And you're like, yeah, keep him out. And you're like, why aren't you kicking him out? And then he doesn't. And then, I'm sorry, all of us would immediately fold, just like Celebrimbor did, if, like, however you want to be best presented in your mind's eye, that's what happened. Like, in the same way, like, we see kind of like, I don't want to talk about next episode too much because we've already revealed too much, but just like, how, like, he knows the buttons to push for each person, especially, like, we got a play-by-play by Gil-galad 25 minutes ago. That, like, once he has your trust, he not only can warp your mind, he can warp your heart and your eyes and your ears. Everything. This isn't just like...
They cut to Celebrimbor immediately after that.
Yes.
So he's 100% seeing what he wants to see
here. Yeah, and, like, I think people forget that, like, maybe this isn't happening, like, in real life, like, if we take a third eye view from it, but we're seeing it from Celebrimbor's perspective.
Right.
This is what he's seeing. This is what Sauron is making Celebrimbor see in his mind's eye. And that's what's going on. You can call it cheesy, you can call it over the top. Who you are dealing with is Celebrimbor, who is cheesy and over the top and artsy fartsy. Like, this is who he is.
And I buy it. I buy every second of it.
Every single second. This works so perfectly.
Yeah, I'm so in. I hate that, like, the episode ends and then they give us, like, the coda of, and the dwarves have been invited to Eregion. Like, a couple of the endings have been a little weird like this, or like they've had multiple endings, but it still totally works. I'm excited to talk about episode 3. We're grateful that you guys have joined us for this journey. If you're just finding us, there's so many different ways you can interact with us. We kind of encourage you. I want to encourage you now to join our Discord. That's a free thing you can join. We share memes there. We make fun of the bad takes I have. Someone, I couldn't find the comment because it must have got flagged, but someone's like, more like podcast of bad takes. And I was like, We know. I wanted to be
also be more clever. Like, if
yeah, dongs of Woker.
Yeah, be more like dongs of Woker. Am I right, guys?
I mean, it was real something.
But yeah, we have so many ways to contact us, and just we want to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment on YouTube, leave a review on any of the podcast platforms that you listen on your drive to work, or you're at the gym. 5 stars would be absolutely amazing, guys. And if you want to leave a review about a specific episode or just us in general, I would really, really appreciate it. And definitely leave a comment. Like, we've been doing more YouTube stuff. We really like this platform. We've been doing video. It's more work for Jess. So leave a thumbs up there.
Just for me.
Yeah, just for Jess. Just for Jess and her editing skills. And for Blue. You get a free fat cat every single time.
I can't believe I was hiding him up to this point.
It's truly... Yeah.
I need to make a nook, though. Because I need to make that take the record player off and put a little nook there for him to live on. But do subscribe to us. It costs you nothing. You can join our Patreon for free. You get notified when a new episode drops. We are dropping our Rings of Power episodes every Friday after the episode drops on Thursday. And our Patreon at the $5 tier has exclusive access to our Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon podcasts. So you might want to join us over there. Ben streams at TTV Strider with instead of an E, it's a 3.
It's very true.
All this information's basically in the liner notes of the episode, so you can
click the
find
links,
out
guys.
more there.
We're everywhere. This is our prime time. This is our Game 7 over and over and over again with this episode. This is what this podcast was made for. And we are going to be here every single week. And next episode, we'll be going over episode 3. And we can talk about everything without worrying what episode it is about. Finally, whoa. We know we've been jumping around a little bit, but now we get to talk about everything. And going forward, we get 1 episode a week, and it'll be nice and easy peasy.
Nom, 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 nom. Nom, 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 nom. And may our paths, until next time.
May our paths, you got it.